Adobe takes on Procreate, Sonos improves its software, carriers lock our phones for our own good, and an unusual iPhone accessory. This is MacVoices. Today's edition of MacVoices is brought to you by the MacVoices Dispatch, our weekly newsletter. Visit macvoices.com/newsletter today, sign up, and stay up to date. Stepping away from Apple just a little bit, this one is one for Jeff, because Jeff has been an advocate for Procreate for quite some time, and now it looks like Adobe is making Fresco free to allegedly take on Procreate. Jeff, I'm really curious to see what you have to say about this.
Well, Fresco's a good program. And yeah, I think they're doing this specifically to go after Procreate and pull Procreate customers into the Adobe ecosystem. And if you're going to give away a program so that people do that, or to at least entice them more, Fresco is a really good way to do that. You certainly aren't going to do that with Acrobat, because that's a dumpster fire happening right there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Fresco's a really good program, and making it completely free, that was exactly the way to do this. Not, hey, it's a freemium thing, just here you go. Here is this very powerful art tool that we've created. Run with it. It's yours. So I think it's a really smart business move. And it's a really good program too. So that's a bonus.
Do you think there's any chance they would ever take it back, Jeff, if they weren't successful in really unseating Procreate and some of the other apps?
Well, you see the way Ben's head is bouncing, almost like he's having a seizure.
Yeah.
Here's how this would happen. They would, I think, they would continue to offer Fresco as a fully featured tool that you can download and use for free. But then they'll come up with Fresco Pro, and that'll have other features. It'll take advantage of things Adobe is planning on doing down the road, and Fresco today will sort of be like feature locked and not get these new things. So they'll kind of backdoor us into a freemium model for Fresco.
But they'll wait till they get a dominant market share away from their competitors to do so.
That seems like a reasonable assumption. Now it's possible that they won't be able to eat enough of Procreate's market to make it worthwhile to do a freemium version of this. But we'll see. But for now, this is cool. And yeah, I could see where Adobe could do add-ons for this that are purchases, and then just get people into a free ecosystem here where they make money off of this by drawing you in with add-on features, Fresco specific brush sets, stuff like that. And but the idea here is you need to be in the Creative Cloud ecosystem, and giving people easy entry points into that is a smart thing to do from Adobe's perspective. And so here you go. But there's a lot of people that are not interested in subscription model software. And when you can buy Procreate for under $15, what is it? Like, it's $13, $14. It's under $15. And it's a perpetual license. That's a pretty compelling thing for people. And they know that they're not going to get a bait and switch where down the road you end up having to pay for something else related to this fully functional free tool that you already have. But for now, hey, this is cool. There's a lot of people that will be able to get into digital art that weren't able to do it before because they couldn't afford to pay whatever. Now they've just got this.
I can't not bring up the subscription discussion because is Procreate a subscription or it's just a one-time payment, isn't it?
But Procreate is a perpetual license, one-time payment.
Okay, so then how? I loved your bait and switch comment, Jeff, because that would concern me. It would also concern me that Procreate has to continue to sell new licenses to stay in business. And I wonder
always
if
has to sell new licenses, but they also sell you upgrades.
Okay. So we'll see. Marty.
Yeah, I want to add a layer onto this. Adobe is into the AI generated art. I mean, you can use Adobe to use AI as an assistant for generating art. I think the bait and switch is incorporating AI into Fresco to the point where someone could generate what is a frame for a picture and bring it into Fresco and then do the editing within Fresco of what they've created, what has been AI generated. And with Procreate's stance on not doing anything AI, I think that's the kind of niche that Adobe could leverage to bring different kinds of artists in.
That's a good point.
It's a real good point. But would they give that away in a free tool? Or would
I don't think so.
Yeah, no. That would be another way to bring it into a paying situation.
Yeah.
We're starting. In fact, we are running very short on time, so I'm going to make sure we get to just two quick things. One of these is something we've been talking about for a while, and that is that Sonos finally has figured out a way to restore most of their features that were so badly broken and destroyed and not working. And so I guess we'll have to wait and see. This just popped up a relatively short time ago. So I haven't seen much in the way of follow-up. I would think that if there had been follow-up, it would be because it really didn't fix things. So maybe it's gotten things back online and back on track. I have not tried to do this with my Sonos gear yet. And, the bad thing is about this, I've sort of learned to live without my Sonos gear, with the exception of what I have, the home theater setup I have it in the living room. And that really was never affected because it was just more of a plug-in kind of thing. So I really wasn't using some of these services and back-end things that were broken. But the rest of it sort of got taken over by HomePods, and when the HomePods weren't in the right rooms, then just by putting in AirPods. So,
what a great marketing campaign! We've managed to undestroy, most of the features we destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Sonos becomes what it once was, it's not going to happen overnight. This is a month, if not months, if not years process. And they have to be pretty well perfect from here on out.
Well, they did break the trust of a lot of their customers.
And from what we've read, it seemed like it was just, unfortunately, they didn't need to, but they did.
No, but they made a conscious decision to do the things they did,
Yeah.
which totally blew up on them.
Yeah. Barry in the chat room says, I've been living without Sonos gear my entire life. Thank you for that perspective, Barry.
I have as well.
I was very much invested in Sonos about 5 years ago. When they decided they wanted to push their own voice assistant rather than going with the Apple Siri integration that was announced. I ended up going to HomePods. Well, instead of one HomePod mini, they ended up causing me to sell all my Sonos gear and get multiple.
Ben, it's interesting to hear you say that because my migration away from Sonos or finding alternatives to Sonos came when they didn't have immediate support for Apple Music, and that became my music service of choice.
Mhm.
And it's like, well, if I can't use my music service of choice with my speakers of choice, and the company that provides the music service just happens to make speakers, it seems like kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Sonos got a little bit too full of themselves with being pretty much first to that multi-room audio market. But they found out real fast that people could live without them.
Yeah. I lied. I'm going to do two more because this one I wanted to bring to everybody's attention just almost as a PSA. The carriers don't want to unlock your iPhone. They say it's for your own good. Mhm. Yeah, right. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not disappointed.
I knew I was
I'm not
gonna
mad.
get-
I'm disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah.
When my dad said that, I knew I was going to get a spanking.
I can almost, you know what? I can almost buy the spin that this will make phones less affordable. But what they fail to mention is that they're locking you into their higher price plans. So yeah, you may pay less for the phone or more for the phones, but you have more flexibility if you get an unlocked phone and then can switch carriers.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're like making a lot more money when they didn't have to compete with each other and MVNOs.
yeah, so read that article at your leisure. It is just flat out amusing, I think.
But really, Chuck, it is for our own good that they keep our phones locked.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff, you're such a pessimist. Okay, last one of the evening. And Jeff, I'm sort of going to aim this one at you too. But really, how many people here have a Kindle?
Yeah,
I do.
Okay, a bunch of you.
I
So
haven't turned mine on in several years.
Okay, so I'm really curious about this. AstroPad launches a bookcase to turn iPhone into a comfortable and smart page turner. Is this a solution in search of a problem, or does this really improve a reading experience on an iPhone?
It's something in search of a problem.
And
every
Jeff,
product is in search of a problem.
Well, yeah, okay, but Jeff, you're the AstroPad guy because of the rock paper. Was it rock paper pencil? Rock paper scissors?
I have multiple Astro products.
Yeah, and they're good products. So this company, rock paper, thank you, rock paper pencil. Jeff, that's why I was joking with you, but I've always been impressed by their products, and so I look at this and think, really? But I feel like I must be missing it because it's AstroPad.
When I got the press release that this was out, I read it and I sat back and I thought, what the hell? Like, I wasn't getting it. And then over the course of the rest of that day, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And I ended up changing my mind and going from what the hell to this is actually a clever idea. A lot of people read not just books, but other content on their iPhones. And you hold your phone like this most of the time while you're doing it. And then your wrist ends up hurting and it's uncomfortable. But when you hold like this, it's a lot easier on your wrists. And I got to thinking, for a lot of people, this could actually be a really useful accessory for their iPhone. And since it has like a pass-through for MagSafe charging, you can just set it on your charger and with it still in the little tray thing. And then I got to thinking, what about people that have mobility issues and holding your phone like this all the time is difficult for them, but they can do this. I could see where this would be a useful accessory for people with hand mobility issues too. I don't read books on my iPhone because it's not a comfortable device to do that with. I read on my iPad mini or on my Kindle. But if I had one of these, I could see where that might change at least some.
Okay, Jeff, I'm with you on the accessibility part. And I sort of put that off to the side because that's not the way that this appears to be. That appears not to be the market that they're targeting, at least according to this piece. They're looking more at the book market. And you went right exactly where I was hoping you would go. Because for me,
did I fall into your trap?
No, there's no trap here. It's just that if this device had been made for an iPad mini, I might feel a little bit differently about it. But for an iPhone, it just really surprised me.
Now, for an iPad mini, this doesn't seem like a useful device because now I'm taking something that I can already hold like this and I'm making it bigger. I don't want that bigger.
Well, okay. Good point.
You know,
It seems to me that this is taking an iPhone and turning it into a device that's about the same size as an iPad mini, but still with an iPhone size display.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But that's fine.
Marty?
Yeah, I do a lot of reading on my iPhone, and what Jeff is talking about, holding it in one hand and then having to do stuff with your other hand, I get it. And I like the fact that this is a little bit of a more ergonomic feel when you're reading something. And for me, it would be a device that I would consider getting if it had a simple way for me on the side of the device to advance pages or scroll. Because I'm still, if I could do that with my thumb or even some of the earlier Kindles, I think I have an old Kindle that had a button on it that would advance pages with it. Something like that would make the device more useful for me than just having a container to hold it in and still having to remove my finger or remove one hand and do it. So
maybe that'll be the Bookcase Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, except there's no way for them to really get that signal into the iPhone.
That's what Bluetooth is for.
That's where I was going, Jeff. Yeah.
Getting it, Bluetooth, fine, but now you've got to get the software, whatever software you're using to read, to respect that.
Well, I'm just the idea guy here.
And I use all kinds of apps on my phone to read. I mean, not so much books, but I'm using an RSS reader, I'm using social media, um, email. And I don't know, I think it might not be that bad to use this and just reach over and flick with your thumb. But I think this thing is adorable. But why do I read on my phone? Well, because I'm out somewhere where I didn't want to carry a larger device. If I'm at home, I usually don't read on my phone very much because I've got an iPad mini and I've got an iPad. So, why not just grab that?
Which totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about the people that they've got their iPhone or their Android phone, because they make a version of this that you can use for those phones too, but they don't have an
it's
iPad?
The same version.
It's the same
Oh,
version.
is it?
Yep.
Oh, it's the same version. Okay.
You just have to put a magnetic ring on the phone.
Oh, okay. But yeah, a lot of people, they've got their iPhone and that's all they want. They've got like the big screen iPhone, and they don't want to have another device. So for that
this
market,
is perfect for them.
This is perfect for them. For those of us that have an iPad mini sitting at home, or a Kindle, or both.
But you know what? I'm going to guess that most of those people don't have $50 to blow on this product.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think the bookcase just got its first endorsement from, Jim Ray says it's adorable.
Yeah, that's going to go on their website.
They can put that on their advertising.
Yeah,
I do really think that. I don't know. I think this might be an interesting product to have it in a retail environment where you could actually try it. Maybe if I saw it in person, I'd be like, "Oh, this is the most awesome thing ever." I mean, even with the iPad, I actually think an iPad is more awkward to hold than a phone. I don't really see a big problem. To me, the big problem of reading on a phone is it's too small. The problem with reading on an iPad is it's heavy.
Brian?
Yeah, I had a couple of thoughts. One that occurred to me when I was looking through some of the specifications on it, I noticed that it's pretty universally compatible with a bunch of not just iPhones, but really that idea of having that magnetic back. So it does work with competing smartphones too, other than Apple. And I think that's helpful, if you think about like making a purchase. I mean, $50, it's not nothing. I mean, it's a decent amount of money for an accessory. And it's nice to know that if you change out your phone, next year or something, that, it's gonna, probably still fit that same phone. So it doesn't, you can feel like, if you get a new phone, you might be looking at all the different cases that you're going to have to replace and that type of thing. So that's kind of nice in that way. And then I also was thinking about too, that I'm glad something like this exists, because just because it isn't for me, it's not something that I would necessarily pick up. I'm glad that, these innovations take place, and that, it helps, further the advancement of different ideas that, people were saying, it would be really neat if this, plus having, the ability to pay, to turn pages or scroll. Well, it just, something like this had to come first in order for something like that to maybe come later on. So, yeah.
Good. Let's see. Eric.
So for a long time, I used my 13-inch iPad for reading, which is great, except at night when you're reading, you fall asleep and then you wake up because this sheet of glass smashes you in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And right after that, it's like, gee, I really wish I had an iPad mini. So I use my phone a lot, especially at night. And really the only annoying thing is, depending on what you're reading, there's no bezel area. So when you hang onto the phone with your, finger and thumb, and inevitably you're highlighting a word, you're looking something up in the dictionary, something totally unrelated to whatever you're doing. So it really appeals to me to have something that's just wide enough that I can grab it, I can hang on to it, and nothing I'm touching will do anything. It'll be not responsive, and it is appealing enough. I have considered, after seeing this, just taking an old case and throwing a small board or a chunk of cardboard on the back of the case so that I have something to grab. But this looks like it'll be softer if it hits me in the face when I fall asleep. So
Okay. There's another piece of advertising for the website. Doesn't hurt as much when it hits you in the face.
yeah.
Ben?
It hit me during what Jeff was saying, what this actually is. This product is this, but for reading.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ah,
Good point. Real good point. And for those listening, Ben is holding up. Well, exactly what is it, Ben? I know it's a game controller, but I don't know what it is.
Yes, it is my very expensive Razer Kishi Pro or Kishi Ultra.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's a really good point. And I don't know. I don't think I've ever read a book on my my phone, and this wouldn't be exactly the right orientation. But I wonder then if you could let it flip to widescreen and make it your phone a little bit more like a book as opposed to with longer lines. So I don't know.
I like this
this
line
is-
in the website about it. Bookcase can be programmed to create an ideal reading environment every time you connect your phone to it. They have a companion app, and so you just pick your favorite book reader or I guess like news website or whatever. And when you drop your phone into this, then it'll open up the reader that you want to use, which can also be something like Audible, whatever. But then it'll also do setting switches for you as well. So if you want your phone to automatically go into do not disturb mode, or if you have a different mode set up just for reading, when you drop this in, it just does all of that for you. So that's kind of cool.
Webb, you get the last word on this.
My wife uses the Libby app and reads constantly and uses her iPhone. I've tried everything that I could to convince her to, would you like an iPad mini? Because her mother has one. Would you like a Kindle? Would you like something else? And she's one of these people that just likes reading her books on the iPhone. So I this thing came up and I was looking at it and for the $40 available on this pre-order, it takes 6 weeks to get here. Yeah, I went ahead and got one. We'll see. Well, see in 6-7 weeks when it gets here, and I'll let her use it and see if she likes it. And if I'm reminded, I'll report back to you all. But my wife is the market candidate for this device. So.
And you
Good.
can even
Well,
set it up so when she puts her phone in it, it just launches Libby for her.
Yep.
No, I will have to do that for her.
Well, yeah, that's what he
Yes.
said.
Yes.
That's my job. Yeah.
We'll set
Yes.
that up.
if you, yeah, please do, Webb. I'm really interested in in this. As far
If you turned it sideways, you could watch videos with it.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh no, I mean seriously. I mean, watching on your phone, where you would want your finger on it to block anything. Maybe they should have that as part of their marketing.
Well, and they would probably have to redesign it just a little bit to be exactly like Ben's razor. But yeah, that's, there's something to be said for that if you have the need for both fingers or both hands. So
I'm looking at the picture. How would you hold it if you went to the horizontal? But
It looks like you could probably hold it with one hand, no?
good.
Mhm.
yeah, well, I mean, again, we're all speculating. So Web. In fact, tell her she's invited to be on the show and do a quick review for us.
Oh, well, good luck with that. So,
Well, it was just an offer.
yeah. And she's even met you. So,
Yeah.
Well, there's your problem.
There's your
Gee, I was
problem.
gonna say, I think that was subtle, Webb. I almost didn't feel the needle go in. Hey guys, this has been great. Thank you. We got to a lot more than I thought we would. There's still a few things we'll hang on to for a while. Definitely want to thank the chat room. They've been very talkative tonight and very supportive in throwing things in. So thanks, guys. Those of you who are still here, I know a couple people had to cut out. Let's go around the room, let folks know where they are, where they can find you, and then we'll get out of here and prep for Halloween proper. I'm just going to keep the same order. So, Brian, that lets you get out the door first. Where can folks connect with you?
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Best place to reach me is on Mastodon, Brian8944 at mastodon.cloud.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave Ginsburg, good to see you. You'll be trick-or-treating on Thursday, I would assume, in touch with iOS.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to do something for our Halloween edition. But thanks for having me and appreciate it. And you can find me at In Touch with iOS and intouchwithios.com. YouTube channel is youtube.com/intouchwithios. I'm here on Tuesday nights. I'm on the Mac Show on the British Tech Network on Fridays. And I'm on Mastodon at DaveG65 and mastodon.cloud.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben Roethig, it's great to have you back. Tell the people that schedule your work that you need to be off on Thursdays so you can be here. But in the meantime, where can folks find you?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yes,
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Thursdays.
Yes.
Yeah, or at least working the day. You can find me on social media at Ben Roethig on whatever social media is good for you, because I'm on all of it. You can find my writings and ravings at roethig.tech. You can also find me on such podcasts occasionally, depending on my schedule, as Dave Ginsburg's In Touch with iOS, the Mac and the Mac and Big shows on the British Tech Network, and who knows, maybe some other ones coming up soon.
Great. A little tease there. I like it. Thank you, Ben. Mr. Marty Jencius, good to see you as always, with your Vision Pro not on your head, but on your little stand. Where can folks find you?
The Vision Pro is going on my head as soon as this is over because I've got shows to catch up on. You can find me Jencius, Jencius, at Bluesky. And Tuesday nights here with Chuck, always great to be here with this group of folks. Thursday nights with Dave on In Touch with iOS, and then Monday nights with Eric on Vision Profiles. And this Monday night, we're going to have Dave on the show talking about his month or so experience with the Vision Pro headset. So we're excited to have him join us. And then I've got another project that I'm starting that maybe I'll hold off till next time to talk about.
It's teaser.
So many.
Two teases. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
just it's something we're going to do tomorrow night, and we'll see if it works.
Okay. Marty, you needed another project.
Another podcast.
Yeah, I know. It's like shopping and more when I get an idea for a project that it's like I get obsessive about stuff. So just another project.
Understood. Thanks for being here. The Deer Slayer himself, Mr. Eric Bolden. Wait, that was James Fenimore Cooper. A boy and his killdeer. That's right. Eric, where can folks find you?
You see, I don't have to do the work. I have somebody for that. I just pull out a plate and then wait for the venison to show up.
I want to see that little bird dragging a deer in. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, it may take more than one, but it's impressive. I can be found at EA Bolden at techhub.social on Mastodon. Mondays with Marty on Vision Profiles, and Tuesdays here with all the exciting people.
Exciting or excited?
Yeah. This is a good day. There's so much happening today.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being here, Eric. From high above the Apple campus, Jim Ray. Jim, thanks for being here. Where can folks find you? Jim seems to be mimicking his flight path.
Exactly. Yes, you can find me on the internets at provue.com, PROVUE.com, and specifically on Mastodon at ProVueJim at techhub.social.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Jeff Gamet, great to see you as always. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for making me think a little bit different about the bookcase. Because when I looked at that, it's like, I don't know, but yeah, and heck, we even sold one to Web. So,
just doing my part to help out and to spend your money, Chuck.
Everybody here.
It's my money.
Thanks.
Yeah,
you got me to spend my money.
Yeah, Web. Sorry, I was aiming it all at Chuck, and somehow you ended up buying anyhow. But hopefully it works out. Yeah, I know. You were watching me. Oh, yeah. Okay. When I'm not stressing about Web keeping that eye on me all the time, I'm posting on social medias as Jay Gamet. Right now, that's mostly Mastodon and Instagram. Then here on shows with you, Chuck, MacVoices Live on Tuesdays, with Dave on Thursdays, In Touch with iOS. Then on the British Tech Network, The Big Show on Thursdays, Mac Show on Fridays, and Brian Chaffin and I do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I are doing Retro Rewatch, and we are about halfway through season 1 of Stargate SG-1.
Thank you, Jeff. Last but not least, Web Bixby. Thanks so much for being here, Web, and please tell your wife she's welcome on the show to do a review or anytime she just wants to show up and talk about quilting.
I can't even get her on this level of the house during the show, much less. So, but I like I said, I'll do anything for her. Look at the quality of the work she did that's behind me right now. So, if you remember, those were all neckties that I took out of circulation, and she made that quilt. So, anyway, you can find me. I think we're going to go with. You can find me on X at Web Bixby at X. Find me there.
Great. Thanks so much, Web. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices Live, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Join us on YouTube at youtube.com/MacVoicesTV. You can have as much fun as we have doing the show by being part of it in the chat room. And that goes in so many ways because the gang in there really does help make the show. Quick programming note, we will be dark next week. Unfortunately, I've got business travel again, and I know at the appointed hour I will be doing something other than Mac Voices Live. So, but we will be back the following week, and we'll be playing catch up with everything that Apple releases the rest of this week as we tape the show. We'll see what happens. Until then, and as always, thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.